battled the 52 kilo class at the first Sheffield, claimed a couple world titles since then.
Yeah, and the last couple of years not having to take her third deadlift, you know, which I said maybe today she might have to. Will be interesting to see, but she has been dominating this class for the last few years.
Recently made a move to Thailand for some training.
Yeah, a little trickier than we're used to seeing Evie's opener, but she can certainly grind.
To Evie Corrigan, it's this young lady, 167.5. Side by side, we get to see them handle this 167.5. Let's see how she handles it.
Not only a threat to Evie, but maybe even a threat to Plun and her world record squat. Megan's best is 171.
Sorry, Evie took 162.5. That's pretty convincing.
Yeah, it's a nice opener. And a good lift, 3 white lights. And a side.
Evie Corrigan, 167.5. Evie has gone as high as 172.5.
The only other athlete in this flight with a better deadlift is Farhana, who is the world record holder. So we'll likely have the last say out of herself and Megan.
And these are not very tidy squats coming from Evie today.
No, they're a little bit scrappy, but to be honest...
72.5. A reminder, the world record is 175.5. We're getting close.
Yeah, and unless this is monumentally difficult, I can't imagine she won't look for that chip on her third.
Well, by the time she gets there, it might be bumped up. Oh, it's work though, Amelia. What are your thoughts on this?
It is work, and it might be safer to go for that 175, you know, just under the record. The question is, you know...
It off. Evie Corrigan, 170 kilos. Evie's top end is 172.5. We're very close. We're really going to know if she's at her top end today or not, depending how this moves.
Yeah.
She could spare a couple kilos here and there.
And she jumped 2.5 kilos, so like you said, feeling like she's at her top end. The extra couple of kilos will certainly help, but she doesn't lose out on too much should she not get this.
Okay, so here's a bit of a discussion, Amelia. She not only did not load her top end, she loaded a little.
For Beckany Smith, if she gets it, that chip means a lot. She will be 1 kilo on prognosis behind Evie Corrigan and the first person in a long time to potentially take a world record for Deckers.
This could turn into a battle. She needs this.
That is such a shame for Megan there. So close. And really,
5 kilos.
well, the jury's overruled it, so that
Really?
does beg the question. Yeah, unfortunately, I think for lifting, we weren't able to see that, but I did peek over the jury's shoulders. They all seem to agree, unfortunately. If they've come for a bench medal, you know, the question is, do they go up or do they retake?
Yeah, we'll have to pay attention to body weight. If she retakes and makes the jump to 100 kilos, she might get a bench medal. 102.5 for Evie Corrigan. Nice opening bench for Evie. She's hit 107.5. And Megan Lee Smith, 102.5.
Yeah, opening on what we know of as being her best bench.
Yeah, that's intriguing. That's gutsy. Now, Megan has been around World Championships several years in a row. I don't think she's going to make any kind of silly mistakes. Opening too high. Some lifters, they'll do something like this. You got to raise your eyebrow, but with Megan, she's a veteran at this level. Yeah, what I would suspect. So bench has gone well, Megan.
Yeah, it looks extremely strong. And again, keeping the pressure.
105 for Evie Corrigan. 2.5 kilo conservative jump. Top end is 107.5, so it makes sense.
On prognosis, only 5 kilos currently separating Megan and Evie.
Looks like a second attempt should.
That's a good lift. Yes, very consistent.
Speaking of Megan Lee Smith up next with 105.
Making sure everything's set up perfectly, especially if she's trying to pace with Evie and push her. She's doing a good job of it, Ryan.
Yeah, it's just, you don't want to read too much into it. This will equal her personal best.
She needs every kilo she can. Megan Lee Smith is close behind. She's not a world champion for no reason.
Yeah, when she needs it, she has it, and that's why she's Evie Corrigan.
Needing it. This is important.
Megan Lee Smith has done some fantastic work on her bench press. 102.5 was her previous personal best coming into this. 105 as a second moved very smoothly.
Should she get this, herself and Evie will remain 5 kilos apart heading into deadlifts. Oh, Great fight from
Yeah.
Megan.
Very calm, cool, collected, and composed in there. And Megan Lee Smith, 182.5. Has a big task ahead of her trying to chase down Evie Corrigan. But she gained some kilos on that bench press. Let's see what she's done to her deadlift. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she is looking incredibly strong, and that is a threat. She is breathing down the neck of reigning world champion.
Have to be on her A game. And speaking of, here is Evie Corrigan, 192.5.
Now, penultimate opener here, followed only by the world record holder, Farhana Farid. Evie probably feeling the pressure more than she has done for a little while now.
No question. I mean, you had previously mentioned Evie never had to come out for her last deadlift in any of her outings as a 52. That is not going to be the case today. Going to be an interesting plane ride back to New Zealand. Well, Evie's actually in Thailand now. New Zealand wasn't big enough for both of them.
Oh,
Nice, yeah.
that was easy.
Convincing. Convincing.
It was, and I've got to say, it looks like Evie.
Megan Lee Smith, 192.5. Now, if Megan hits this, Evie hits her second. They're just 2.5 kilos apart.
The gap is closing.
Yeah, this is a battle. It's literally going to come down to 2.5 kilos. That's a final pull. This is a pivotal pull for Megan.
Megan is the lighter of the two as well.
Yeah, she could force Evie's hand. Can you believe we're having this conversation?
Wow.
Oh my goodness, and the battle is on.
That is absolutely incredible. And
200 kilos for Evie Corrigan. And dare I say, Evie needs this.
yeah, she absolutely does. Not only needs this, but probably the next one based on how Megan's
Yeah.
moved.
How crazy is it? But here we are.
She will be able to see what Megan does for her third before deciding what she takes. That is the advantage. The bigger puller. There we go.
Yeah, the battle continues. She's got a smile on her face, but she's going to have to remove it. She's put her total at 477.5, nudging ahead of Evie Corrigan, forcing Evie's hand.
For the first time that we've seen, Team New Zealand are split, and I can see Jason standing by to change the numbers if they need to.
Megan Lee Smith is asking, how do you perform under pressure, Evie? This is new.
And we've not said this before, but to pull ahead of Evie Corrigan.
Yeah.
197.5 kilos.
Oh my goodness!
And she does
Oh
it!
my goodness! It's happened! It's happened!
That is unbelievable.
Oh!
Megan Lee Smith pulls ahead of Evie Corrigan.
Insane turnaround in the 52s, and Evie Corrigan is forced now to hit her final pull for the first time ever. Hit for Evie. It's all come down to this.
Will the crown remain on Evie's head, or will she pass it on to her teammate, Megan Lee Smith? it all lays on this final deadlift.
Oh, the finest writers in Hollywood couldn't have penned this one any better, could they? And it's all up to Evie to write the final chapter. As she rises to the occasion once again, Evie Corrigan in her finest hour.
And this one might just taste a little sweeter.
Absolutely.
Absolutely incredible. We said it was going to be close, and it was right until the final pull. And